pointer doesn't work on this. I'm gonna point with my hand. This is us in America. Okay, so we're not technically in this, but I just want to show you we're there. So we are in Haiti. We are in Kenya. We are in India. We are in Sri Lanka. We're in Myanmar. We're in Indonesia. We got some of these stars up here. It all started. Who remembers the Ukraine? Right there in the Crimean Peninsula. We got a lot of people went on the original adoption trips. It all started right there. At one point in time, we supported a school in Afghanistan. That's some cutting edge stuff. Like that was during the war, right? And then we were in Cuba. We've since kind of pulled our support from there. 640 children right now, and that number grows and fluctuates all the time as different things happen. And we'll talk about some of those different things. Like, for example, we had one partner start during the 2004 tsunami in Indonesia. So, I mean, when bad things like that happen, you know, God uses them for good. Now we've got a partner that brings in orphans and teaches them about the gospel. All right, so let's talk about Myanmar real quick. So our primary partner is Samuel.
We're just going to have to cut them off.
All right. We've got the Myanmar Christian Village, and that's been our big project there. So the Myanmar Christian Village, it's 15 homes that your funds went to build, and it's its own compound. Like it's on its own plot of land. What has got a church on there?
Church. Yeah, 257 kids, church, homes. They run a business from the home, either raise cows or have a delivery, or some build bricks, make bricks to sell, or one guy makes flip flops. But it's the idea with those jobs, with those businesses, which we loaned them the money to start, was for them to try to be self-sustaining. So it wasn't just us sending them money; that they would also have a business to make money for their family and teach those type of things to the children that they're raising.
So this model won't work for everywhere, but this is the flagship country. This is the ideal thing. Imagine this. Imagine we go into a place and we start meeting their immediate needs, right? Because that's what we got to do. But then we're teaching them to be self-sustaining through life skills. Like when I went to Myanmar, we had a small motorcycle repair person go over there. We had some doctors and nurses. Roger dropped some farming knowledge on them, and now they are farming and actually making a profit. So it's not like making a profit, like, oh, we're using kids to make a profit. Like that's not what we're doing. We are teaching life skills. We are making those orphanages to where they can be self-sustaining, and then with the goal of reaching out and helping other orphanages or growing themselves. Like that's the best thing we could do. And to that, you'll see at the bottom, we have a transition home here, because Hopeful Hearts noticed that there was a bad thing going on. A kid turns 18 years old, and they're like, well, you're not an orphan anymore. You're an adult. Good luck to you. Well, that's not going to work, you know. And so these transition homes, these adults that have aged out of the orphanage, can now have a place to stay, you know, kind of indefinitely until they make it, until they, you know, meet the love of their life and get married, and they get their own jobs and have their own families. And that's what it's all about. So you got an orphanage that's meeting the needs, the physical, spiritual, emotional needs, that's offering them job and life skills, and then giving them a place to stay afterwards so that they can get up on their own. Like, that's it. I don't know how it gets any better than that. And that's what we want to replicate everywhere. Not all cultures allow for that. Not all partners allow for that. Samuel Thane is a phenomenal gentleman and has let us do wonderful things. But that's what we got going on there. So to that, we've got 26 orphans living in a transition home. We got a large rice family that we support just with rice. It's given, you know, to support 31 orphans. We got 19 children in Yangon, and our partner there is Titus. And then the big thing we're asking you guys to do is to pray for peace and safety for our children and the stability of the country, both politically and economically. Myanmar had a military coup there recently. We haven't been able to travel there because of that, and that's kind of the big needs there. Did I hit everything, Brad?
Yeah, and well, in the newsletter that we sent out, the story of Mary, directly a result from being raised in Samuel's house, going through the transition program. Now it's a story told, you know, she's in Japan, letting out her life go, and it's all that program, that being able to take care of the kid long term and help them move into adulthood and achieve things that you want kids to achieve.
And that's the next big thing what we're doing. And it's on me. I've done a poor job of presenting testimonials, but this organization is killing it. Like the lives that we've impacted, the stories we have to tell, we need to let you guys know those stories. They are phenomenal. Like the orphans that grow, they grow up and they have their own families and they teach them about God. And we got to do a better job of getting those testimonials out. And that's going to be part of our marketing strategy as well. Okay? So the next country we got is Sri Lanka. And there we have Footprints Ministry directed by Roheen. And many of you have probably met Roheen or see her. She talked at one of our things. My wife tells a great story about her. What were you at there was a luncheon, right?
Yeah, we were at Cassie's house, and she was sharing a story about how she didn't have the funding that she needed for that month. Do you remember that, Karen? I do. And she said, she was talking to someone about how they needed a pretty significant amount of money, and they said, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to make sure you get that money? And she said, well, I'm going to pray. What would you do?
Yeah, Melanie told me my faith felt small all the time. Yeah, and that's amazing. Okay, so in there, they've got a home to 51 children. There's a boys' home and a girls' home. And the boys' home was actually built by Hopeful Hearts a few years ago. All of this has been done with money that you guys have given. Okay? And like I said, that's what I love, the transparency. If you want to go see the boys' home, you get on an airplane and you can go see the boys and go, oh, $5 built this house. That to me is what makes this so awesome. Okay? The girls are cared for by older women that live there, and then the boys have a house father that lives with them that's responsible for kind of parenting them through their life. Hopeful Hearts also finances what's called the Alpha School. Can you talk a little more about the Alpha School?
Yeah, the ministry for Roheen, she started it. We started funding it in January this year. They moved to a building. We provide the rent, pay for the teachers. They get a meal a day. We provide for it. It's all a new ministry for us this year, and really a pretty new ministry for Roheen. It's just evolved out of her outreach to the community. The children that come to the Alpha School to get an excellent education are lower caste kids, and without that education, they can't move on in life as much as you can in Sri Lanka. But in order to come to the school, the parents have to sign a document that allows the kids to be taught about Jesus Christ. So she's using it as an outreach. So she's reaching out in her community doing that by sharing the gospel with the kids, hoping to reach the families and reach out here in Colombo area for Jesus. So we partner there. That's what that's the goal of the Alpha School, is to reach at-risk children with the gospel
And Brad, didn't we have a mother of one of the girls that comes to the Alpha School be baptized as well?
Yeah, somebody saying yes. Yeah, Diane saying yes.
Yes.
I don't know that I heard
Yes,
the story.
we
That
did.
doesn't mean anything.
The other thing is that most of the teachers there, or many of the teachers, are girls that have grown up in the home that are now teachers that teach at the school. Because some of the same things we're talking about.
I want to just make a few comments because we're leaving for a trip to Sri Lanka in about 3.5 weeks. It's about my 12th trip to go over there. As you know, once you go to a place, it kind of grabs your heart. The children do. Children there speak English, which is really neat. Diane has been on, I don't know how many years, both of us have gone with the group. They have said, you're the only people to come back, which really means something to you, because that means you really care for them. And there's some wonderful children there. Roheen is a great example. She's a great inspiration every time you go to see her. She's the most woman of faith that we ever meet. The school is a neat outreach. Hopeful Hearts, orphans and at-risk children. So we consider these at-risk because they all come from a slum area and are at-risk children. So we we interpret it that way, that we can do that, and it's a great ministry there that we hope expands. So if you're ever interested, I'm the only old man that ever goes. They'll flock around you. They will flock around you if you go, because they don't know any other old men, because who takes care of them? Women. They don't know old men. So if you're ever interested, we can.
And tell them about how they shared with the unfortunate what they had.
Yes.
So when things were hard in the COVID times, this is the heart of Roheen and the people there. She sent, and they weren't even supposed to leave home, they sent some of the older children that are up in more the college age kids out, bought food and distributed them to the people. And a lot of these people are people that couldn't work. A lot of them were housekeepers for the more wealthy people and people's kind of things. So they scraped together and got enough money to give food boxes to those people. So we're going to do that again this year. Last year we asked them to do that. We got to go to those neighborhoods that the school connected which ones should go to, and then they could invite 5 or 6 of their neighbors that needed support. So the tentacle, you know, how that reaches out is really neat. That's really a neat outreach mission. And so anyway, I just had to say a few things. We leave on November the 8th, Diane and I. First time that Kathy won't be with us, so it's going to be real different not having Kathy along. If you want to go on mission trips, this is not one, they're all different. You're not living in a grass hut and you're worried about snakes crawling in on you with flies buzzing around. You stay in a decent place. There's transportation. It's a highly popular, it's in a city. Phyllis Alderdice passed away a couple years ago. She was a dedicated trip goer. She went all the time into her 80s. So you guys you're not too old to do this. But it is a long flight. I mean, you're talking a 16, 17 hour flight, but to me it's worth it. I will go there to see those kids that think we're like grandparents now until I physically can't do it. And we're hoping to have another trip, maybe in April. We're going to talk to Roheen about, and hopefully we can do one that's more focused on the school, a little more supportive with school. Anybody that has any education in their background that could help us with that would be great. So anyway, sorry to butt in on that.
What's the primary religion over there?
What's the primary
Buddhist,
religion?
Buddhist, Hindu, Muslims are trying to move in, Christians in the north. You got some of the hassles with the government for that. But it's a great ministry there, and I mean the stories.
Sri Lanka is way easier for Christians than India.
Yeah,
India's tough.
India's tougher.
But to be a Christian, but they are able to share the gospel, and they're able to reach people by doing the projects that they do, but yet there's enough oppression there that that Roheen made the parents get permission so they could teach the kids the gospel, and there wouldn't be repercussions.
They also, though, do have to be careful when we were delivering the food boxes last year. We had to be really careful. They were concerned because it can be viewed like you were giving it in exchange for. So Roheen was very careful as to where we went and how we did it.
There's all these things that we don't look at as odd, but when you get into a different culture and what to do, it's perceived differently. But the great thing about our partners is they know the culture, so we're able to do things like take food boxes, and they'll tell you what you need to do. Hey, look, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do, and we're able to do what we can.
And that they were there supporting us. I mean, the older kids were there right hand in hand with us doing that, so we weren't thrown out on our own to do that. So, but everybody has some neat stories about a trip. Can I tell one story?
Yes.
And I'm not going to say who this happened to. We always, this is a relationship with children trip. It's not to go do the work and paint their building. We take them, one year we took them to the beach. So we took them to the beach, and us get in our bathing suits, get out in the water with them, play with them. Big wave came by and knocked one of the ladies that wears a wig. Big wave turned us over and out went the wig out to sea. Scared the kids to death. She was out here. But they chased her wig down and brought it home. If you you ever want to go, I mean, it's some great experience. It's a faith builder for yourself and hopefully an encouragement for the students. That's all I wanted to say.
Sorry, I've had some technical difficulties, but the next country we're gonna talk about is Haiti.
Haiti. Terrible place to go. Wouldn't go there now because of targeting. Our partner has left his compound because of gang violence in the area. Been gone from his home, and they had 2 or 3 buildings there. They've been gone for several months now to stay out of the way of the gangs and the trouble there. Their prayer for their country is for peace. You know, economic crisis, just like the country has economic problems. They have gang problems. It's just a really tough, dark country. But our partner there has 27 kids still, in his home. They was there for, and yeah, that's Haiti. It's a tough place. So, Indonesia. Okay, Indonesia. So we support 2 orphanages through, and Stephen and Carrie Wright, Stephen and Carrie Stewart are our contacts there. But there's 22 kids in one home, 24 in another. We just provide, what our support does is enhances their diet, takes them from pretty much a rice-only diet, and brings protein and vegetables, fruits into their diet, and that's what we do in Indonesia. It's a tough place to share the gospel. They don't want us to take teams to do vacation Bible school because it brings attention. So we go through there when we're flying somewhere. We'll drop in and check on the ministry, but it's not every place where we're going to take a team unless the religious issues unless that changes drastically, which is not anything I would see in the future. India, I have a partner in India, John Matthew, been a long-term partner. He has a girls' home. The government constantly is making it harder. India's goal, Prime Minister of India's goal is to make India for Hindus only. I think there are Muslims in the country, but even they receive some persecution. Christians receive lots of persecution. If you're out trying to spread the gospel, you could be killed, for sharing the gospel. It's a very tough country for Christians. Our partner, John Matthew, runs a girls' home where the girls are classified as at-risk girls. They live in the home and go to school, and they get an education, and then technically they have parents, but they're there and they hear about the gospel. They get an education, and it's things that they couldn't get otherwise. Licensing, the government has gone so hard on his ministry this year that he's still able to run the girls' home, but he's still struggling. They haven't renewed his license to do things. So that's one of those things to pray for. The licensing for our ministry, John Matthews' ministry in India, because I would suspect that eventually without that licensing, the government will come in and there'll be a problem.
Talk about
Indonesia. Haiti. Kenya. Support 2 orphanages in Kenya. The first one is Peter Ringo, who did the speaking via electronically at the gala. Has 76 kids in that orphanage. Provides food, clothing, shelter, education. The next orphanage we support is Simprose is Shepherd's Children's Home. Our funding there really helps her put kids in boarding school, and they hear the gospel, but the main focus is to get them an education. Same thing with nearly every country we deal with is pray for peace. Inflation's a problem, and safety for the children. It's just a common. It's just the underlying issue in every country where we go. Economic problems, kids needing an education, peace in the country.
Alright, so that is our presentation to you guys. with that, Brad's going to leave you guys with a couple more words, and I'm going to ask Larry to come up and pray. But this is it. This is the very first donor appreciation event, and I just want you guys to know, like, how much we appreciate you, how much the things that you have given of your time and of your resources have gone to do great things. Like this, it's there. If you want to go visit it, please go visit it. Many of you have. It's there, and I want you to please continue to give to Hopeful Hearts, but to also talk to other people about it, to bring them into this wonderful organization. I'm gonna turn it over to Brad.
And thank you for coming. We wanted to have an event that wasn't a fundraiser. We wanted to have an event that was an appreciation dinner, an appreciation time, because we recognize, like Brian has alluded to, that we want to make sure that y'all are being touched, you know, that you're known, that you're appreciated. It's hard to reach out to people quickly. Writing newsletters takes a little bit of time and stuff. So I'm going to ask if we don't have your email address on that piece of paper you fill out, write your email address, because sometimes there's prayer things that come up. We're not going to be, the goal is never going to be to solicit you via email. The goal is going to be communicate with you and urgent something. Hey, look, pray here. This has happened. Or maybe just to be able to tell a story like we just told about Mary. Hey, look, this is what happened. This is a story. This is what's going on with what you've done. And I know most of you probably know the story of Hopeful Hearts, but you know, years ago, Kathy and Bob, well, there's a group of people sitting around Kathy's table. They'd seen the suffering, the struggles in Ukraine, and they held the children, knew that something had to be done, and they didn't know what to do. But instead of just going, well, somebody will take care of it, they decided to do something. So in 2002, they started beginning the work of Hopeful Hearts Foundation. Now, the first gala was held in 2003, and we've held one every year, praise the Lord, except for the 1 year we skipped because of COVID. And God has blessed us immensely through the gala. It was our main fundraiser for the year. It's where we are able to tell the story, give the updates, and new people come and they hear the story and they get excited about Hopeful Hearts. It has been the lifeblood of our organization financially for all these years. What's both amazing and significant to note is many of you in this room heard the story way back then and decided to be part of the solution. You came to galas and you've used hope, and God has used Hopeful Hearts Foundation and your commitment and your sacrifice through these years to make a blessing to hundreds and hundreds of kids. Now I'm going to go back to my words here because I can't remember everything. Ryan, but when I found out 2 days ago I was going to say something that didn't go. You've helped us not only feed and clothe orphans, but provide education, build homes, security walls, water towers, bunk beds, purchase vehicles for transportation, dig water wells, and even fund an egg-a-day program for much-needed boost in protein. More importantly, you've helped change lives. Lives like Mary we've talked about. There's more of those stories to share, and you'll be seeing those in the next few months. But that's the real reason we do what we do. I mean, we feed them and clothe them on a day-to-day basis, but the real goal is to change a life. Somebody, a child walk away with a Christian faith and a changed life where they can succeed in life. Your commitment and sacrifice has made this ministry possible. The reality is, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you and many others like you. So thank you. Thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for telling the story to others. Many of you have told the story to other people and have brought people in. God has helped Hopeful Hearts Foundation and blessed us immensely just because of y'all. And I pray that God blesses each and one of you for the sacrifices you've made and the blessing you've been to us and the blessing you've been to orphans around the world. And really, we said thank you a bunch today, but that's really it. Thank you. It's the whole idea is just to let you know that besides the little note you get on the bottom of the donation, which is meant, it's on purpose because we mean it. Thank you. You've been a real blessing to our family.